Hello everybody, my name is Brian Block and I'm here with Tiana Vincent and Sam Jawa. Today we're going to be presenting our SIP project, Cybersecurity Simulator. What is Cybersecurity Simulator? Well, we understand that the inability to recognize phishing attempts in the workplace is a leading security concern. This is especially common in police precincts, schools, nursing offices, but unfortunately a lot of these places don't really have a choice in what they can upgrade to. So this project is supposed to show these people that work in these kinds of places what to do and what not to do in preparing for their job in cybersecurity. We designed this in conjunction with our majors in game art/game design and network security. So our claims to innovation are right here.
Hello,
Sam would
everyone. Hello, everyone. My name is Samir Jalla, and I'm a network security major. My innovation claim is to create a user experience that simulates early stages of a cyber attack to educate users about fraudulent and phishing scams through the use of interactive 2D graphics and UI. I'll now turn it over to Tiana.
My name is Tiana Vincent, and my innovation claim is to gamify the educational process using built-from-scratch phishing email templates and curriculum to educate the player on key indicators of compromise.
My name is Brian Block. You already probably knew that, but my innovation claim is to change the game design based on the player's input and skill. So here's our prior art. So Cyberbit, it prepares your security team for an attack by providing a hyper-realistic virtual SOC environment in which they can train and respond to the real-world simulated cyber attacks and dramatically improve their performance. Purplefish test employees' susceptibility to today's threat by launching simulated phishing attacks. Users will experience firsthand how phishing attacks works and learn how to identify them in the future. No B for you. I hope I pronounced that right. There is a Q in it. Provides a cloud-based security awareness, training, and simulated phishing platforms to manage problems of social engineering. So that's all we have for our PowerPoint. Next, I'm going to bring up our simulator, and I'm going to hand the floor over to Tiana. Hold on. Keep in mind the game has audio, but we've disabled it for the sake of this presentation. So, Tiana, are you ready?
Yes.
All right.
So the game starts off by explaining to the user what phishing is, and we tell the user what the primary goal and intent of phishing is, so that way they're familiar with the concept before we start the game. Next. The next slide shows the user 6 key indicators of compromise, so that way they know exactly where to look when we present them with an email template, so they know whether or not it's phishing. Next. Lastly, we tell the user about spam. The reason we have an entire slide about spam is because phishing and spam are different, and we want to make sure that the player is able to distinguish them easily when they're playing the game. Next.
So would you like to describe this?
Yes, so the game does start off with giving the user 2 different choices. It does start off relatively easy. The primary goal for this mini game is to allow the player to select the phishing email, and once they choose the correct email that is phishing, they will gain points.
This can be seen over right here. The player is also counted on their time as well. If the player chooses the wrong one, well, they kind of are in for a little bit of a surprise. Hold on a sec, sorry about that. It will say fished, and the game is over if they get 3 tries wrong. This can be seen right here. So if the player gets too many wrong, it will then say fished. The floor is going to be handed back to me, and I'm going to present my part. And then last, we're going to have Sam Jawa present his part. So, my innovation claim, the gameplay changes depending on how well the player is doing. If the game detects the player is doing well, in skill and so on, it will transfer over to this. So it will transfer over to a completely new gameplay style. The player kind of in this scenario got hacked, and they're gonna have to put in commands and attack the attacker. So they open up this email, they got attacked. They're then going to have to put in commands and press enter. Here they put in the command com. Up here when I press enter, you can see that that returns true, meaning that the command worked. And so on. If I put any other command right now, it does not work. But eventually it will turn that off, and you have attacked the attacker, and it will go back to the regular game. I'm going to pass the simulator off to Sam Jawa.
So
So,
as for my contribution for this project, I've decided to include Eternal Blue exploit, and this is an exploit that exploits a software vulnerability in Microsoft's Windows operating systems server message block protocol SMB1, and it uses a network file sharing protocol that allows access to files on a remote server. And what this can let an attacker do is let the attacker have the power to view, change, and delete data and create new accounts with full administrator rights. So Eternal Blue is one of the common exploits that attackers can take advantage of by delivering it through phishing emails. So my contribution to this project was that I created some 2D artwork for CyberKnight, and I also created some video assets that demonstrates how real-world cyber attack works. So now I'm going to show you what occurs when a user fails at recognizing emails. So this is an email that's automatically sent by Microsoft Teams to give the user a notification via email. In this email, Bob has sent a PDF file to the user, and to view the file, the player has to open up Teams application. Due to the user clicking on the attachment, this attachment, what happened is it enabled the SMB1 and SMB2 for file sharing automatically on the victim's Windows 7 machine. And the email is suspicious because the headers aren't where they're supposed to be. It's in the middle, where it says 2020 Microsoft Corporation and read our privacy policy should be on the bottom of the email with a copyright symbol after corporation. And the other thing that's missing, it's kind of obvious, like, is the One Microsoft Way, which is part of the address of Microsoft headquarters. And now we're going to be transitioning to the attacker's view, and this happened the minute the Teams button was clicked on, and it activated SMB1 and SMB2 vulnerabilities. And over here, the attacker uses a tool called Nmap to perform the network discovery and to scan the entire network range to see what ports are open on the network. And the attacker is also able to find open ports and found the target's IP address with the open port 445 SMB, which is for Microsoft ES right there. And I've showcased that. I'm highlighting all this. And here is where the attacker searches for the Eternal Blue module by searching ms17_010. And these set of modules can let the attacker go forward with further exploitation and cause more damage to the Windows 7 machine. Then the attacker does a show options command where the attacker is able to go through and specify the parameter that they want to pass in. And the attacker then can specify the IP address with the set rhost command of the victim's machine. Then the attacker can look at the show payloads and look at all the modules of which they want to pass in to further attack the system and be able to gain entry via reverse shell. So the attacker chooses the Windows/x64 and sets the payload over here. And then lastly, exploit. And here is where the attacker is able to gain reverse shell, and it's a win for the attacker. And then with the get UID command, this returns the output showing the user, and the sysinfo is information about the system and like about how the operating system is and like what architecture. And this is the command where this is where the attacker is trying to locate the desktop path and was able to locate the very sensitive file that was saved on the desktop, which was called database backup.txt. And over here, as you can see, this led to reveal 5 people's personal information. And so it's simple. To prevent this attack, don't open attachments that are unknown, and if the email appears to be suspicious as well. So the purpose of this, showcasing this demonstration of Eternal Blue, is to promote security awareness so that others will be educated on this matter, and it'll keep passing on to other people as well. So what this will do is will eliminate them from being at risk as long as they can immediately recognize emails and the email type. And that's all for my part. Thank you so much for tuning in.